Super excited. I love the people in Phoenix, Arizona. I apologize for us beating the Cardinals years ago, so don't take that against me. But I enjoy being here at Arizona State.
Happy Tuesday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. That guy right there, that's Hines Ward, the new wide receivers coach for the Arizona State Sun Devils. I'm Anthony Totri.
Yeah, you are.
We've got Shane Dieffenbach, the fish keeper, over here. We got DJ Caroline making all the magic happen today.
DJ Caroline, she's an intern.
And we figured it'd be best suited for Arizona sports fans just to hear it from Hines Ward himself. The apology.
Why'd you have to do that?
The apology. What have to? I feel like that's a good thing. He's apologizing for what the Steelers and the Cardinals went through a few years ago. No, you don't think so?
It was snarky. Come on.
You know what's
if you're
funny?
a Cardinals fan, that's
Brad Denny was right next to me, and he mumbled, "Don't apologize for anything." It was the funniest thing ever. I tried to not laugh, but we've got everything under the sun that Hines Ward had to say after his first practice officially as an Arizona State Sun Devil. We've got sound from Kenny Dillingham, Jordyn Tyson. So definitely stick around, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't already, wherever you get your audio, leave a 5-star review. Let us know what you like about this podcast. Also, let us know on social media what you'd like to see the Arizona State Sun Devils as a whole, the athletic department, maybe change moving forward. Maybe a new athletic director. You think that
new? How about a athletic director?
That'll work. I know we had JJB in the chat earlier. Grant Hill, associate head coach for the Arizona State Sun Devils. Can you get on board with that?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very convincing, though. No. It doesn't sound very convincing. Look, I was at practice this morning. It was Hines' very first practice coaching some of the wide receivers. I'll tell you what, man. Coach, and I don't want this to come across as like, oh, we're trying to bring down Coach Champ, because we both have talked at length about how great of a coach he is, how great of a recruiter he is.
One of these bites, I was like, whoa.
It is very different, the style in which they coach. For Rashad Samples, it feels like the cool uncle, right? Who he definitely knows more, and like he's trying to be your friend a little bit, which I think goes a long way in the recruiting process as well in this age of college football. Hines is out there bringing the energy, and he's out there like immediately teaching rep after rep. Like, and not to say Samp didn't teach these guys and coach these guys up, but you can see Hines is just doing it a little bit differently. He maybe it's because it's day one, but he did bring the energy today more than I thought he was actually going to.
Yeah, I mean, your first day you kind of have to. But yeah, different coaching styles. Look, when I played, and I know this is nowhere the same level, when I played AAU ball, like I had three very distinct coaching styles that, and some didn't mesh with me as well as the other ones did. You know, one of my coaches was a hard ass, and he'd get the most out of you by just basically being mean to you. And that's the coach that I learned the most from. Yeah. And others couldn't handle it, or there are other guys that bring a ton of energy, but there are other guys that don't. And it doesn't mean one way is better than the other, just personalities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, like, when this whole process happened for Arizona State, it was like, oh shit. Like, Rashad Samples, one of our best recruiters, is gone. And now
one of the best recruiters in the country.
One of the best recruiters in the country. And now you're at a point where, hey, guess what? We've got a couple days till the transfer portal window opens. Mm-hmm. Like, things are like serious, right? Whether those players were going to consider leaving or not, that was certainly something that you have to look at from our perspective, from media perspective, from fans' perspective. You're like, okay, you have to fill this coaching position right now.
Yeah.
And there was guys that, there were other candidates than Hines Ward. We've got sound from Kenny, from Hines in terms of how this whole process kind of played out. And let's get to what Hines Ward had to say about that first phone call with Kenny and how he became that Arizona State wide receivers coach.
You know what, man? I was sitting at home on the couch, debating if I want to continue coaching and stuff. My wife, of course, wanted me to sit at home and be with her and watch the Kardashians all day. But no, man, I mean, just out of the blue, I get a call from Coach Kenny and asked me if I was interested in the wide receiver job. And, I related to my wife and, thank God it was Phoenix. She said, hey, that might be something. And I'm a firm believer, man. God dropped this opportunity in my laps for a reason. So I love coaching. I love helping young men. That's really my blessing to these guys. God wanted me to continue to touch young men's lives and not just making them football players, but men in life. So came out. I love Coach Kenny, what his enthusiasm, his direction of where he wants this program to go. And I said, shoot, sign me up for it. And, came out here. Today was a good test. It's for me to get to know what type of players that I have, especially at the wide receiver position. Wanted to see who can do hard, who quits and who's out of shape. So a big day for me to learn who I have in my room, but super excited. I love the people in Phoenix, Arizona. I apologize for us beating the Cardinals years ago, so don't take that against me. But I enjoy being here at Arizona State.
I think to hear, again, just him kind of describe the process, getting the call from Kenny just out of the blue. And I know, I don't know if we have that clip specifically, but he talks about how he knew of Kenny Dillingham, but he had never ever talked to him. And he called Kenny Dillingham one of the good guys, right? You want to play, you want to coach with the good guys. And to hear a NFL legend, to hear a Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl MVP talk about Kenny Dillingham, the head coach, just going into year 2 of the Arizona State Sun Devils, to be a good guy and get that credit and just those words from Hines Ward, I think means a lot. And then also to have a guy like Hines Ward on your staff, it does a lot, obviously, on the field, but it is going to be a little bit of a difference for Hines than maybe Rashad Samples as to how recruiting looks.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, just going back to the clip in itself, he didn't know what he was going to do. Obviously, he coached an XFL team that was the last thing he did. And so going, and I know he's had experience at colleges. He coached at FAU, but going from a head coach at a professional football league to this is a weird jump. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's jumping down. I don't know if it's lateral. It's just a different jump. And so you kind of have to relearn coaching styles. And for him to take that leap, it kind of speaks bounds about this school, because it's a desirable place to not only go to, but also to coach at, this city, and Coach Kenny Dillingham. And look, man, shit, if something crazy happens and I'm a slot receiver in the NFL for 5 years and then I go retire after I win a Super Bowl MVP and make a bag, you never know. I'm gonna sit on my ass and watch Love Is Blind until I wither away.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm not doing anything.
It's a new bombshell in the villa.
It's not Love Is Blind.
No,
that's
which
Love
one
Island.
is that one? That's Love Island. Same thing.
Nope.
Okay, you go into it. You got a better one.
This week on Love Island.
Oh yeah, no, that was much better.
A hot new bombshell enters the villa. That's all I would do.
And his name is Hines Ward.
And so for Hines to take this shot, and again, I'm not saying this is a step down. I'm not saying it's lateral. I'm not saying it's a step up. It's just a step in a different direction. For him to do that and uproot his life and move to Phoenix, it's pretty awesome.
And I think again, it says, you don't want to read too far into it, and this is obviously just practice one, but it makes you feel good, right? That this is a guy that could have done just about anything that he wanted to do in terms of coaching, in terms of being an analyst, and he decided to choose Arizona State partly because his wife loves Arizona, right? At a certain point in the interview, he talked about how Kenny gave Hines and his wife a tour, right? And if his wife was all giddy about Kenny Dillingham and just the type of person that he is, and it says a lot, right? So I think regardless of how this situation goes, I feel like for me, Hines Ward will be here for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he is somebody that has aspirations of I want to go be a head coach, or I want to go move to the NFL. This is a guy that's he just wants to be around football.
Yeah. And he might only be here for 3 years, 4 years, 5, but I'm sure as hell bet he's going to look at retiring here.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest places to retire. So,
absolutely.
Whether that be as in the maroon and gold, teaching, teaching slant routes or playing golf.
You can do it all in Arizona.
It's a good place
man.
to be.
You can do it all in Arizona. Short bus. Next practice, you two should wear the same glasses as Hines Ward. What do you think?
Yeah, the Pit Vipers, I love it. I got sidetracked by Ralph's comment. Ralph, trust me, I talked about this the other day. Former NFL player that had a coaching stint with the Jets, who is now coaching at ASU. Can't imagine it going poorly.
Come on, Ralph. Kenny
Dillingham didn't hire Herm Edwards. I don't know if you knew that. They didn't hire Herm Edwards.
But Kenny Dillingham did hire Hines Ward, and this is what Coach KD had to say about making Hines Ward the Arizona State wide receivers coach.
And he just raved about how the players respected him, about his knowledge of the game and about his leadership and then who he was. So I said, you know what, we should reach out to this guy and see if it's a fit. And I didn't know if it was going to be a fit at first. You know, that really wasn't the direction I was thinking of. But when we talked to, 6 guys, and when you leave a conversation with him, you feel empowered, you feel better. So not only is that impactful for the player, that's going to be impactful in recruiting, that's going to be impactful in the program. Unbelievable person. One, when you walk into our meeting room, there's 3 things on the board. Be a good person, make good decisions, and have more fun working harder than anybody in the country. And when you meet him and talk to him, he's a great person, right? I mean, he's made good decisions his entire life. And then he loves the game. I mean, I asked him why he wanted to be here, and I alluded to this, and he said, it's because I want to prove to people I can be the best at it. He still has that drive to prove people wrong, which made him great as a player. And you see him out there today, he's running around, he's got energy, he doesn't know one play. He knows it, but he's going to coach the energy, the effort, the passion. He's going to coach the person. And in college football, coaching the person is just as important as coaching the scheme.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I had hinted at before the hiring process and after we found out on Saturday that Hines Ward was going to be the wide receivers coach that filled Sam's position. Kenny's going to hire a guy that he likes as a person, look, what we talked about this yesterday. It's one thing to be able to run a route or just do anything in life, but it's a whole other thing to be able to teach what you're good at. Mm-hmm. So the jury's definitely still out. We don't know if he can teach wide receivers. Like we just don't know yet. But I'm confident that Kenny hired the right guy for a culture fit, the right guy to be around at practice, and the right guy to mesh with the staff and the players and recruit well. Because Kenny's not going to bring in a guy who he doesn't believe in as a person. You can make mistakes in the hiring process. Smoke and mirrors with everything. Like you just don't know how good somebody is at their job. Yeah. Interviews are different than impact, but I have confidence that second year under Kenny Dillingham, he's going to be hiring people that are going to replace. And again, you're not just replacing Joe Schmo, you're replacing one of the best recruiters in the country. So I'm confident that he hired the right guy. And you heard it on that bite. Like he's infectious. You talk to him and you feel like a better person after that. We all know this type of people. Like you need that, and you need that in a locker room where you're trying to not only establish but rebuild a culture and get it to a different place.
I think one thing, and you bring up a lot of really, really good points on that. I think for me, and I'm gonna be transparent on this. I think there are certainly going to be wide receivers and players that come to Arizona State that maybe don't want to play for Hines Ward. And the reason I say that is because he is the type of coach, and you can already get that idea from practice one, that he is going to push you. He is going to push your star players beyond their limits. He's going to push your walk-ons beyond their limits. He is going to try and get everything out of his wide receivers. And there are definitely kids out there, whether they be from the transfer portal or at the high school level, in today's day and age of college football, that they just want to go somewhere and they want to get their bag. Not to say that Arizona State would get those players anyways, because that's not the type of player that Kenny wants to get. But star players that would come here, and maybe they think they know it all, right? Because those players exist. Hines Ward is going to be out there with your star wide receivers to the guys that you won't see until they're seniors, and you may see them for a game. He's going to be out there coaching them the exact same, and I got that today. Doesn't matter if you're Elijah Badger. Doesn't matter if you're Jordyn Tyson. Doesn't matter if you're Corbin Hendricks. Doesn't matter if you're Melquan Stovall. He is going to tell you what you did wrong and how you can do it better, how you could do it at a Super Bowl MVP type of level. Right? Now, not saying that he's going to tell you how to do it and immediately you're just going to be that good. That's not how coaching, that's not how teaching works. But he is going to be a wealth of knowledge. And we'll hear from Jordyn Tyson a little bit later on the show. But like, you just kind of, if you're that type of player, you just almost want to soak it all in.
Yeah, one thing I like that Kenny said is he doesn't even know the plays yet. He has no idea what the route combos he doesn't know the playbook, but he's out there, working his ass off. I saw them catching tennis balls today.
Yeah,
that's elite. That's awesome. Just try new shit. That's fun.
He's like, I'm pretty sure he said, "quote If you can catch tennis balls, you can catch anything."
Yeah,
I like it. He's bringing a new vibe.
As Jordan Ham said, he's channeling his inner Patches O'Houlihan. All right, P. Patches, man.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Can't believe that sign fell on him. So awful. So awful. St. Thomas.
If you know, you know.
P-Dog, we will. No, I don't even know if we'll get to this. We might get to the end of the show.
Kevin Young.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
it might.
You mean it's not Big 12 breaking news?
I mean, it is Big 12. It quite literally is Big 12 breaking news.
It's not. We'll talk about that later. Right now, I want to talk about Gila River Resorts and Casinos, guys, because nobody does it better than Gila River. I know Shane and the gang, they were over at Wild Horse Pass a little bit earlier today just to check everything out ahead of the big Cardinals draft party that we got here going on next week at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They offer an authentic and immersive experience that you're not going to find anywhere else with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement. Guys, they haven't just set a high bar. They have set the highest bar in the valley with their state-of-the-art gaming floor. It's got it all with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables.
They quite literally have high bars, too.
And live table games.
Off the ground.
Not to mention, Shane, Arizona's largest casino sports book. On top of all that, they've got 1,000,005 different dining options for you, from upscale to approachable. Head over to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Yeah, I'm a betting man.
You are a betting
man. As you can tell by this. Leah's going to throw a grape on set. What are the odds that I catch it? Plus,
in your mouth?
Plus 180 is my guess.
No. I'm saying plus like 400.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I'm good at this. The odds makers know that. The reason, if I could control the throw, I'm minus 300. There are factors at play that I can't control.
You got an iffy quarterback here.
Well, she's not iffy. We just don't know what she is yet.
Okay.
So, chat, yes or no? Am I catching this? Plus 180. Here we go.
Plus 180 feels wild to me.
See?
No, yeah, that was a bad throw.
That was insane.
That was a crazy throw, Leah. Come on.
You didn't specify.
That's why you got to read the fine print, guys. BetMGM will never screw you by making shoddy odds like I just did. So head over to BetMGM and bet on the play-in games. I gave out some picks for the play-ins today. I'm taking the Pelicans first half. They don't lose first halves.
But they do lose games.
And you can take that over at BetMGM. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your BetMGM Sportsbook account. Oh, there's a, what is it, rind? There's a grape rind stuck in my throat.
You good? You want me to pat you on the back?
Place your first, no, it's not. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. And if your bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM mobile Sportsbook app for at least $10, and you'll receive $1,500 back in bonus bets if it loses. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to me talk about a disclaimer. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. All right. Plus 280 now. Plus 290.
I'm still putting. Oh, she's got this.
Oh, that's insane.
Wow.
Caroline.
I have to throw it?
Yep.
Oh.
Wow.
Next
we have thrown a lot of.
Yeah, well, blueberries was
the blueberries.
The first thing. All right, Caroline.
The donut holes.
We're back down to minus
ready.
or plus 200.
Are you standing
What's the
up,
content
sitting?
that everybody wants?
All right, ready? I have to stand for good form.
Here we go. Oh.
I'm blinded by the lights.
That was a great throw.
That's tough. We're just. Whoa.
Oh my god.
There you go,
So she is a lot like what's her name in How I Met Your Mother? Like Lily cannot throw anything, but it's like legit. Like this isn't a bit. Like she just like, oh yeah, here I'll toss you the keys.
No sitcom.
It just goes flying.
We got Jam on the roof now. That's crazy.
All right, Jam on the Roof. Great band name. Let's get back to it.
Jam on the Roof is a great band name.
Let's get back to it.
Let's get back to Arizona State and Hines Ward. Why are we doing? That's where you want to go, right? You don't want to get into Kevin Young. Right?
No.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Look, you brought up a little bit earlier, just that Hines Ward. He does have a little bit of experience doing this. Did it at a year over at FAU, but at Arizona State as a full position coach, he is going to be tasked with a lot more than just simply being an analyst in terms of recruiting, in terms of having those difficult conversations about NIL and trying to get players to stay at Arizona State. I think for me, he was, and this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the portal or Jordyn Tyson. Maybe it does, but I don't think it does. He spent a lot of time talking with Jordyn Tyson today, both during practice.
I bet it does.
After practice, you think it does?
Dude.
I mean, again, day one, it is certainly interesting that his first day is the day that the portal opens. But it is a little bit of a transition.
He's coaching on hard mode right now.
He is coaching.
He's coaching on hard mode, and yeah, I'm gonna lean on the side that it is definitely intentional that he's spending the most time around Jordyn Tyson. Jordyn Tyson got recruited by Rashad Samples to come here, and they're from the same place. Like that is probably the most obvious one that would player that would probably transfer out of that wide receiver room. So of course he's going to stick.
And Tyson's looked good. He's looked really good this spring. Really, really talented guy. He had a great. He had like 40-yard touchdown catch today in the back of the end zone that Hines talks about a little bit later. We'll get to that soundbite a little bit later in the show. But I do want to get to what Hines Ward had to say just about the differences in terms of coaching in college to even just playing at that pro level.
Different than pros, I tell you. Just with these kids, man, it's more than just the X's and O's. Some of these kids come from broken backgrounds, broken homes. You have to deal with student academics and things like that. So it's going to be a learning curve. I did a year at Florida Atlantic, which was great experience. So I don't feel like a fish out of water being here, talking to recruits here in the state of Arizona. That's a part of being a college coach, but I just love it. I love being a part of the staff. Coach Kenny's an amazing man, and for me, he's one of the good guys, and so I enjoy working with the good guys. And my challenge is to turn this whole thing around. I want one of our receivers to be all Big 12. That's my goal. We have some talent, but I just think they've never been pushed before. So I'm pushing to really find out, who I got on the team and who I can trust in the game and stuff. So the season it's not here yet, so it's still a learning curve for me. But it's a great opportunity to get to know these guys during spring football and see what I'm working with.
I'm curious for your perspective, Shane, on this. And I know it's a different situation. Like, this isn't reality, but like, if you were an Arizona State wide receiver, you've gone through 2.5 weeks of spring ball practice, and now you've got a new wide receiver or a new wide receiver coach just changing it up, making things a little bit harder, pushing you to your limits. Like, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, so it's easier for Hines Ward to do that, but just some guy that comes in here, just some guy that has to gain my respect, that's harder. But dude, come on. This is the dude that was shredding people at the highest level, and not just shredding people at the highest level. He had that like that.
He's a dog.
He was a rabid dog out there, and so it's easier for Hines Ward to garner respect. Now, if I went out there and I said, "Chop your feet" or do this, they'd be like, "Brother."
So it does make
a while. Yeah, it makes a difference that the man was an NFL Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's certainly. And like I said, I saw that out there a little bit today. Like, he's not afraid. He's not afraid to tell you he knows more than you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to make these guys the best wide receiver possible. And you talk about, he talks about, like, he's got to push them to that level to truly understand what he has in that room. It's easy after the first 2.5 weeks with returners, with transfers, with high schoolers to try and get an idea of, okay, well, yeah, we've got Elijah Badger, Jordyn Tyson, Xavier Guillory, which guys can do what. But what can they do, when the cards are stacked against them, right? What can they do when on their very first practice with a new wide receiver coach, they're being forced to do different drills that they've never done before? It's almost like he's Arizona State and Kenny Dillingham, they're throwing a really cold bucket of ice water on these wide receivers, and they're like, how are you going to respond, right? How are you going to respond? And today, there were some receivers that responded really well, and in all honesty, there were some receivers that didn't, it was their first day, and they looked like it was their first day. You've got to figure that will eventually change. either they'll leave or they'll get acclimated to it. And I think for me, if you're a wide receiver that opts to leave because it's gotten different and hard and you don't want to be pushed to that level, then I think Arizona State would be better off without that.
Well, I do want to say, like I was saying at the start of the show, I don't think that Hines Ward is working harder than Rashad Samples was at the wide receiver position.
No. It's just different.
It's just different. Yeah. So I don't want to say leave if you don't want to be pushed hard, because then that implies that they weren't being pushed hard prior. Leave if you don't respect the way that Hines Ward is coaching you. That's more how I would put it. Ralph says, imagine telling Hines Ward you're too hurt to play. Yeah, I would never want to be injured in practice or banged up in practice with him as my coach. But yeah, for sure, like this is a different thing, and just as much as players have to prove to Hines that they're a certain type of player that they want to be shown as, Hines has to prove to these players that he's a coach that demands respect. And as I said before, it's probably easier that he was a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought it up earlier, just in terms of if there is a wide receiver coach that can come in the middle of spring and just immediately kind of get some respect, it's a guy like Hines Ward, who's done it at the highest level, done it on Sundays. He talked about it just in terms of he was the last wide receiver in his class to be playing in the NFL, like for 14 seasons. Like, he has done it and he did it consistently. I can't remember a bad season that Hines Ward ever had. And that's just one of many things, right, in terms of durability, being able to run block, do everything that he can teach some of these guys. So this is what ASU wide receiver coach Hines Ward said about just what he can teach all of these young wideouts at ASU.
I wasn't the biggest, the fastest. I had to work my tail off for everything that I got. There was nothing ever given to me. I wasn't a first-round pick, so I just teach from experience. You know, come in, I put my head down, I grind each and every day. When I come out here, I work on my craft each and every day. So, you know, the good thing about me being a receiver coach here, I'm not telling these guys anything that I didn't do as a player. So I'm just telling these guys the same thing. And like I said, nothing was given to me. For me to play 14 years in the league, I was the last receiver in my draft class to play. I played everyone. That's a testament of my hard work, of me continuing to get better each and every day, working on my craft. And that's what I'm going to do and instill in the wideouts here at ASU. So looking forward to the challenge, but I love it.
Was drafted in 1998, 92nd overall, and played till 2012.
It's insane.
To 2012, and people forget the stint he had in Gotham, man. You know, it was crazy. But I think, again, like Hines Ward, you didn't like that too much?
No, I did. It's unrealistic. He's not. Come on. Hines Ward is not outrunning a bomb or whatever happened.
And he's special teams? Special teams, too? Why is he returning a kick? He never returned. I don't think he ever was a kick return specialist for the Steelers.
This is in a different timeline where he was a special teamer.
Yeah,
Hines Ward would have been an elite special teamer.
He would have been able to take down
just specifically special teams. He'd be elite. But let's be honest, guys. Nobody's outrunning a fucking bomb. Or whatever the ground sucking in. What was that?
It was
just destroyed the supports. And
what's the villain's name again? Bane.
Yeah.
Great movie. That was such a good movie.
He's one of the greatest villains ever.
No, it was phenomenal.
I was born in the darkness.
There
bad.
I was debating if I wanted to do it, but I feel like you pretty much had that covered.
You were merely molded by it. I don't know what he actually says. But something like that.
I think it's I was born in the darkness. Yeah, no, you got it. No, Hines Ward absolutely
was born in the darkness.
He was born in the darkness. He said he had to work for everything, right? He wasn't ever the biggest guy. He wasn't ever the fastest guy. But I think something that we've talked about on this show is like, Hines Ward was going to bring it every single play. And he wasn't just going to bring it through the air. Like, if it was his blocking assignment, he was going to make sure the other guy had his jersey in the dirt. Like, that's just the type of player that Hines Ward was. Like, he wanted to be a playmaker. And he said that today. Like, they're certainly going to be 4-star, 5-star guys out there that you want to bring to Arizona State. He doesn't care about stats. He wants guys that are going to make plays, playmakers, that are going to bring it every single day, whether that be the game, whether that be in practice. And I think that's something that, maybe gets lost a little bit in today's day and age of college athletics, in terms of like, oh, this guy had 5 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. That's great and all, but what did he do for the running backs in the blocking game,
I
right?
can tell
What did he
you-
do when the ball wasn't in his hands?
I can tell you last year the wide receivers didn't do a lot for the running game.
No, like
But it wasn't really implemented that well.
But you
So,
know now this year, right? You got
Oh,
Marcus
yeah.
Arroyo. You got the system that they're trying to implement here is a run-first offense.
who's got the most potential as a blocking wide receiver? Who's going to throw people?
Ooh, that's a phenomenal question. Do you have an immediate answer in your head?
I think Jordyn Tyson, because I saw Jordyn Tyson throw an insane block on Thursday, and he's deceptively strong.
I'm going to go Melquan Stovall. Low man
Really?
wins. Low man always wins. He's got leverage. I think Melquan can definitely
Low man wins isn't because of actual height, right?
No, it's leverage. No, I got it.
Okay.
No, yeah. But he's lower, so he's got better
But-
leverage.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not wrong there. Thank you, though. No, I think realistically, I mean, you could talk about a guy like Troy who's just got the pure size of it, right? He's a bigger wide receiver. I'm interested to see guys like Elijah Badger and Xavier Guillory, how they get implemented into that part of the offense in terms of like, okay, we know you guys are pass catchers.
Yeah.
What can you do for a Cam Scadaboo? What can you do for a Raleek Brown, right? Like, are you going to do what George Pickens does? Right? Where you're just going to kind of sidestep out of it? Or are you going to be like, that's an opportunity for you to make a play for Arizona State? And there wasn't enough big plays for Arizona State last year. And I'll be honest, it's because they didn't have enough players that wanted to go out there and be selfless and make like that type of play.
I think also the offense wasn't set up for explosive plays. Kenny's talked about it. The reason why they wanted Cam to cut weight is because they didn't have any explosive run plays.
Yeah.
And that in part because of Scadaboo being the more I'm going to truck you guy, but also, maybe because the holes weren't big enough. I know sometimes the holes were massive, but
Sometimes.
very
It felt very rare,
Yeah.
to be completely honest with you. You know what's not rare though?
Desert Financial.
Yeah, Desert
Yeah.
Financial.
I
Just their consistency.
thought you were talking about the next Saturday. I'm like, well, kind of is.
Their consistency. Guys, they've been doing it for more than 84 years. Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. Desert Financial is the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University. The Desert Financial team are financial experts who are committed to their members and the community, offering financial solutions tailored to helping real people achieve their financial goals and dreams. And if you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place that you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams. And now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started.
I got a Galaxy on mine. I might have to switch it over. I love
Like a space? Yeah, space galaxy.
What other galaxy is that?
I don't know.
Like
An underground galaxy?
no, it's not a thing.
We haven't talked. I feel like
Like
we
a-
haven't
like
talked enough about space.
Nerd gummy clusters. That's a cluster, not a galaxy, though. You like those? I like
No,
those.
No, nerds
I'm
suck.
nerds in general suck, but something about a crunch.
Top 3 candy, go.
Crunchy outside and chewy inside smacks. Like a sandwich with chips on it.
Ooh,
Chewy. That's chewy outside, crunchy inside.
but that still goes crazy too.
yeah, it does.
You have favorite? Give me just your favorite candy. Or
so-
least favorite candy.
This is controversial. One of my favorite candy. Well, my favorite candy is just dark chocolate. Just straight up dark chocolate.
You're a
Smacks.
dark chocolate kind of.
But one of my favorite candy bar. I'm a sucker for Three Musketeers. Love them.
Wow,
Tasty. All day. Also love cookie dough. Edible cookie dough.
Least favorite?
I love M&Ms. Frozen M&Ms. I like chocolate.
Frozen
a
M&Ms.
shit ton.
Jeez. You don't have a least favorite?
Least favorite? I mean, anything with coconut in it sucks. Mounds.
I hate coconut. Yeah, well, no one likes those. But like coconut as a flavor is fire.
No, coconut sucks. I hate coconut. I like coconut
Okay.
water.
Okay. Look, I think my favorite candy. Ooh, favorite candy.
We can come back to you.
Yeah, that's fair.
We
let
were
me
talking
sit.
about things that are rare, and winning the actual lottery might be rare, but it's not rare to win prizes with the Arizona lottery. And you can do that right now with their new ticket and promotion called Arizona Adventure. There are 3 ways to play. Visit the Arizona Adventure Lottery wherever they sell them and get your tickets where they have beautiful landscapes on them. Picacho Peak, Monument Valley, Camelback Mountain, and they have prizes up to $50,000. You can also check out their geolocated adventures at 10 destinations across the state from Flagstaff to Yuma. Visit azadventure.com for details and directions, and check in at their destination coordinates on the website, or enter tickets online for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. The Arizona Lottery proceeds from the ticket sales support environmental conservation, among other important initiatives across the state. The Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games or winning prizes, it's also about giving back to the state and its communities. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's true.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Arizona State wing Kamari Lands has entered the transfer portal. We talked a little bit off camera about Kamari Lands. How do you feel about him entering the portal?
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed by his game when he was here. Way too streaky for me.
Yeah.
And there were too many games where he was a negative. But again, the team wasn't a net positive anyway. So it was kind of hard to judge him. I think he's got talent, and I hope he succeeds elsewhere if he doesn't decide to come back. But
it just never felt like a fit.
Totally broken up by it. Yeah.
No, yeah, this one doesn't, like, you're not losing sleep over it, to be honest with you.
But it's a body, so
it is.
Gotta go find another one.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's, again, you have the opportunity now to go get another one, right? You have that open roster spot to really go fill that with a player that you want.
Field goal percentage last year?
Let me look. It wasn't very good because. Yeah. The first few games we talked about it. The first few games, Kamari Lands, like I thought he was going to be a key part to this offense. And then as it kind of went on, he was just pretty bad. Shot 28% from the field.
Whoa!
27% from three. 66% from the charity stripe.
What did he shoot from the field the year before at Louisville?
32%.
Yeah.
And 32% from three and 87% from the charity stripe.
That's not good. He has production elsewhere, but in an area where Arizona State can't really afford to lose production and efficiency and field goal percentage, you can't really afford guys like that. So I'm not saying I wanted him to leave. Like I think he had the potential to add a lot to this offense and defense. I think his heart was always in the game. He tried really hard.
Just wasn't a great shooter.
Yeah.
And Arizona State needs some shooters.
Not broken up by it, but
no, you're not crying.
But if he came back, I would be happy.
Yeah, because it's a bodies,
and he's again solid player.
Bodies hit the float. Let the bodies hit the float. No. Okay, let's get back to talking about Hines Ward. But in terms of just where Arizona State is at right now, again, we talked a little bit yesterday about the transfer portal opening up today. Goes to the 30th. It goes to the first for actual like graduate students. So you've got a couple weeks where you're just going to be like holding your breath for some of these guys, but it does feel good for Arizona State, at least seeing Hines Ward really spend some time with a guy like Jordyn Tyson. And again, getting the opportunity to hear from Tyson after Samp left, which we did. We were talking with him, just he said it, right? Like he was broken up about it. Like it really
his heart hurt.
His heart hurt, to quote him. Like that, it was a tough part for him because Rashad Samples played a big role in getting him to Tempe to become an Arizona State Sun Devil. But now he's got a Super Bowl MVP as his position coach. And this is what Jordyn Tyson had to say after the first practice with Hines as his wide receiver coach.
It's amazing. He's a good dude. He's a professional. He knows what he's talking about, and he's going to get this receiver room where we need to be. He came in there and talked to us yesterday when we had meetings, but every time I see him, he's always giving us a little golden nuggets, he likes to call it. He has 3 things that he likes to do over. It's called ACE. Like, and he has a little ACE card because it's the best hand in the deck: attitude, communication, effort. And he emphasizes the effort part to the maximum.
It's been a day. It's been one day at practice, and he is already talking about Hines Ward like he's learned from him for years.
Yeah,
he can quote his tropes that he has. He can quote how he teaches. He quoted them verbatim. He calls them golden nuggets, the things he gives, which I love. It's a great name. But yeah, I love the ace card analogy, and I love how much he's absorbed already. Jordyn Tyson said like he's going to try to absorb as much as possible from this guy because he was a good receiver.
He's a wealth of knowledge, right? Like there are little intricacies to the game that you don't learn at the college level unless you are coached by some of these guys or you go and play on Sundays and you have that experience. So I think to be able to get a guy like Hines Ward, who again, it's going to maybe take a little bit of time for him to get acclimated to coaching the wide receivers at Arizona State at this level. it's nice to hear that a receiver that I think everybody was a little maybe concerned about hitting the portal, not to say that he still won't, but to hear a guy like Jordyn Tyson just a week after losing Rashad Samples still talk like he wants to continue to learn from Hines Ward, right? Like why wouldn't you want to learn from a Super Bowl MVP? And you know, Hines said a lot of good things about Tyson as well, just in terms of how he can become a leader for this team and really just the depth at that wide receiver room. So obviously Jordyn Tyson had a lot of nice things to say about Hines Ward. We're going to flip the script. This is what Hines Ward had to say about Jordyn Tyson.
For me, I try to lead by example because I've been where these guys want to go. You know, I understand the hard work into it and understand the process. It doesn't just happen overnight. You know, watching Jordan, hell of a catch over there in the touchdown. He threw his freaking helmet. That irks me. You know, you got to be able to control your emotions, and I'm going to get the best out of him. He's a good kid. I'm excited to have a guy who wants to get better each and every day. I can work with that all day.
You're talking about he's going to. Talking about the future.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
And just like you could work with him all day, right? Like that's the type of relationship that you want to have as a coach with one of your star players, with the second best wide receiver on your team.
Yeah, and not just the receivers coach. Jordyn Tyson has that relationship with Kenny. Jordyn Tyson, Kenny was talking about Jordan today about how competitive he is.
Yeah.
He has to tell him to go away sometimes. He's like, I can't keep playing, Madden. I can't keep playing ping pong. Jordan, I got stuff to do. Like anybody just wants to win, and you love that. I mean, it's the name of the game, man.
You can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, we can ask for athleticism, talent, speed, intangibles, but competitiveness is a good place to start. I'm sorry.
Jordyn Tyson, no, you're right. Jordyn Tyson, again, is I don't know if we've given him, I don't know if like there's a way for us to give him more credit because we could say that he's had a phenomenal spring. Jordyn Tyson, in my mind, is the second best wide receiver on this team.
Yeah, I mean, we knew his potential coming in here last year, just about getting healthy, and he got healthy, and he looks amazing.
Yeah, he does.
But I can't say that confidently yet because a guy who I think could possibly be the second best receiver in this team is just ramping up in practice right now.
Yeah, which could also be like Jordyn Tyson is this good, and he's still getting acclimated to getting back to 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we could be talking about Jordyn Tyson in the fall as an equal to Elijah Badger, which again, I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're that far off. I don't think they're that far off in terms of talent. So it's going to be huge for Arizona State over the next couple of weeks to keep a guy like Jordyn Tyson. And it's not just a Jordyn Tyson. We talk about a guy like Melquan Stovall, who I think is a very slept-on wide receiver at Arizona State. I think he's got the second best hands on the team outside of EK. And I think there are days where he does have the best best hands.
Sticky hands, really good adjustment in the air. Catches the ball like he's not 5'9" or however tall he is. Like he's
very confident.
He's great. And I know I was giving you shit earlier, but I think he is a physical guy and can mess it up in the running game a little bit.
And I mean, we talk about Troy, you talk about Jake Smith, Xavier Guillory, who a lot of people haven't talked about this spring. Like this wide receiver room is loaded. It is absolutely loaded, and I'm excited to see what Hines Ward can really get out of this group. And again, it's just day one. We'll be back on Thursday to see if anything changes. Obviously, we'll keep our ears to the portal. We'll see what we hear. But one thing that I do want to get to that, you know, kind of stems a little bit away from Hines, just in terms of where Arizona State is in terms of the whole injury process. I know there was a report that came out the other day that Anthony Cooper is going to be out for the season with a torn ACL.
So tough. Obviously for the interior defensive line, because that was a position group that you couldn't really lose anybody.
Yeah.
But also for the guy. I mean, this guy was in sixth year, right?
Yeah.
Like that sucks, man. It really sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely not great, especially at a position. Kenny talks about how they tried to move Anthony Cooper over outside, maybe play a little bit more defensive end as opposed to the interior of the defensive line, just to try and keep him healthy.
Yeah.
We saw it happen. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a torn ACL, but it was definitely, you're like, come on, let's. You just wanted to see him maybe walk off a little bit more on his own, but you know, it's Arizona State right now. They're healthier than they've been in the past. Last year, we know the just injury bug that really just destroyed the Arizona State roster. But Kenny Dillingham did give an update today in terms of where Arizona State is in terms of injuries.
This was practice 10. How are you doing health-wise?
I'm phenomenal.
Not you, the team.
Oh, yeah, I feel great. My knee's great. I'm moving around. The team so Maxi Hanachor is out for the remainder of spring. A shoulder issue, which he'll be fine for the season, but he's out the remainder of spring. Cooper, which was reported yesterday, he had a knee injury. He's going to be out for the year. And then you see Badger and X coming back. So we're getting guys. Stat went out today. We'll find out what that is. But, knock on wood, we're fairly healthy. We've stayed fairly healthy for a much more physical spring ball, I would say. Like, our guys are practicing harder. Our average work day is about 12% harder than it was last year at this time. If you get the metrics, but it's the exact same practice length and the exact same schedule. So it just shows the effort level is higher, which is a good sign of direction. But we are staying fairly healthy. So knock on wood.
See, Sharon?
Knocking on wood.
It's not just me. The specific numbers are a Kenny thing too.
Yeah, where do you get 12% from? It's 12% harder.
You get to feel thing. Look, as I've said before, it's not a scale of 1 to 10 through 10. It's a scale of 1 through 100. So why would I just use the 10 to 20%? If it's between 10 to 20, not quite 25, it's 23.
I mean, yeah,
Or
it's just so
20 to
random.
30, I mean.
It's so random.
Yeah, but the first of all, when that question was asked when I first heard, I genuinely thought he was asking about Kenny's health because of the ankle, the basketball injury,
tendon that he tore.
Yeah, and that's good that he's doing great health wise. But it's also great that ASU is in the position that they are in.
Yeah,
right
as it
now.
stands right now, they're much healthier than they've been in the past, which is again, really, really good for the Sun Devils. Do you want to talk about Kevin Young, or you just want to get out of here?
What do you think about Kevin Young?
I just think it's weird. I was talking with somebody today at practice about it, and they're like, I don't know why anybody would want to go be a college basketball coach right now. Like, it is such a hard job to do.
Yeah, well, look,
and why are you doing? It's like, so he's leaving the Suns right now, right? Like, he's still not going to be an assistant or associate the rest of the season.
I don't know about that.
It just feels odd.
Yeah. He's got one of the weirdest not character arcs, but
character arc.
Like one of the weirdest progressions in Arizona sports, because he was beloved for 2 years. Like, oh, he should be promoted.
Yeah, he's the guy.
He should be the head coach. And now it's like, get him off my roster. He's ruining this team. And people like I saw people responding to the report saying, "Oh, he made the big threes offense terrible." First of all, we don't know how much he was involved. Nobody knows how much assistant head coaches are involved. Second of all, the offense wasn't ever that bad.
Yeah.
You just always expected more out of it, and I think a lot of that was on the players. So
if I had to guess, though, I think he is leaving because these programs right now, like, you need to go get guys.
Probably.
Right?
Probably. I think it's a good hire.
I mean, if anything, it makes the Big 12 even harder. Like, you got a program now in BYU that has a former NBA associate head coach that was being considered for head coaching jobs.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's getting paid more money. Would not be surprised, because you know what they say, BYU's got money.
They do have. Is that what they say?
Yeah, that's what they
the
say.
streets say.
Yep. Oh, Utah's got money. Apparently, they can just spend whatever the fuck they want.
Mm.
Ooh, look, I want to buy that franchise. Fuck you, Ryan Smith.
On that note, guys, that's going to do it for today's edition of the PHNX Sun Devil Show. What, Ryan Smith?
His name is 9 letters long. Idiot. You know how long my name is? I actually have no idea off the top of my head.
17.
18, I want to say. No.
Can somebody count that?
Somebody count. You know what? Before we get out of here, I'm fucking mad at you guys. I got a haircut.
I said
I'm not you.
Oh, okay.
You guys. Chat. I look amazing.
It does look amazing.
Looks amazing.
Just the locks.
Thanks, chat. Thanks.
You look handsome today, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like enough people don't tell you that. Oh my God. So luscious. Guys, that is going to do it for today's show. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already left a 5-star review, do it. And follow us on social at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow intern Caroline at Caroline KLLY. Right? I did that correctly. Love it.
Drop the E.
You can follow the Fish Keeper, Big Pokey, at Shane Deef.
Holding grudges as always, chat. Just remember, next time you guys get a haircut, I'm not going to say anything.
We will see you guys.
The chat as a whole. They're all going to.
Do they all have to get haircuts?
They're all going to get a haircut at one time. Not all of them, but as a unit, as an amalgamation of all of their accounts, they're all going to get a haircut. I'm not going to say anything.
We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Go Devils!
Go Devils!
In peace!
silly like the mayor.